Introduction to the probability of an event. A bag with 8 marbles is shown below. A marble is chosen from the bag at random. What is the probability that it is gray? Write your answer as a fraction in simplest form. All right, so there's a couple words here. So probability is one that we might want to click on here. So probability is the number that tells you how likely an event is to occur. So you can even click on event within here, and it says a set of possible outcomes in a sample space. If you didn't know what that means, then you could even click on outcomes, the result of a probability experiment. Probability experiment is like pulling marbles from a bag or flipping a coin or something like that. So this dictionary can kind of keep going and going and going to see what it means. So again, probability is just is the number that tells you how likely an event is to occur. So the event is what we want to happen. So when a coin is flipped, the probability of getting tails is 1/2. So the event is getting tails, and the number is telling you how likely it is to happen. So 1 out of 2 is the likelihood that you will get tails when you flip a coin. You're either going to get heads or tails. All right, so if we look at this bag, if we look at this bag, then we can see we have 8 marbles. They already told us that up here we have 8 marbles, right? So they told us this. We don't really need to count the marbles because they told us that right out in the problem. But we do want to know what's the probability of the marble being gray if we reach our hand in there and pull it out. So I'm going to kind of switch over to my board here. In probability, we write it as a fraction, and the total number of outcomes goes in the bottom. So outcomes just means all the possible things that could happen. If you put your hand in that bag and you pulled marbles out one at a time, you can keep pulling them out 8 times because there's 8 marbles. So that means there's 8 outcomes. But if we look at what we want for the event to occur, the event would be pulling a gray marble out. There's 4 gray marbles. Because I can see, I can't actually mark them on this page, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, my mouse is kind of going a little funky down that other page. All right. So we do need to reduce this. So again, if you're unsure about simplifying fractions, there is a video called Simplify a Fraction. For this one, we just want to figure out what both of these numbers divide by. I know that they both divide by 4. If you weren't sure at first, you can divide by 2, and then you'll see that, oh, I need to reduce it one more time. But in this case, I can tell right away these both divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is, that was silly, 2. I said 4 and then wrote 4, is 2. So if we scroll down here, they're showing you the same thing. So the probability of choosing a gray marble, number of gray marbles, total number of marbles. So they showed you in the same way. I just want to make sure it doesn't matter if it's marbles or if it's cards, whatever it is, you do total number of what you have, all the different things you could pull out of the bag, or if it's a stack of cards or whatever it is, then the number that goes on top is what you want to happen. So what can happen and what you want to happen. Hopefully that makes more sense there. But simplified, it is 1/2. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this one. We only have 2 problems to do. Oh, see, so this one is a spinning wheel. So it says a spinner with 10 equal size slices is shown below. The dial is spun and stops on a slice at random. What is the probability that it stops on a black or gray slice? So we already know, it tells us right up here. Not going to let me highlight this, is it? Oh, it doesn't let me highlight the number. That's interesting. So it tells us right away there's 10 slices. So when I go to write this over here, I know there's 10 possible outcomes. There's 10 different spots on that spinner. And I want to know what is the likelihood that, or the probability that the dial stops on a black or gray slice. So in this case, it can stop on any of the gray ones or any of the black ones and still meet what I want to happen. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 gray and 2 black. So over here I'm going to write 4 plus 2. Now this is just me breaking it down. You wouldn't necessarily have to write it out like this. You could just write 6 and 10. That would be perfectly fine. I just wanted to show you these were the gray. And these were the black. Like that. Okay. So together, I have 6 possible outcomes that will meet what I want to happen. And then there's 10 total outcomes. So out of the 10, only 4 of them are things that I don't want. See, 4 over here are white. I don't want that to happen. All right, so we need to divide this just to simplify it. They're both even. So I'm going to go with 2s. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Come back over here and I'm going to write 3. Oops. Hit the backslash button, so it added another fraction there. You can always hit the back button, or this undo button will also undo the very last thing you did. All right, ta-da. Next, one more of these. And these ones are, this is just basic probability, so the stuff shouldn't be too terribly bad. A bag with 12 marbles is shown below. A marble is chosen from the bag at random. What is the probability that it is gray? All right, so I have had a lot of students ask me before, why does probability matter? Why should I learn this? This actually teaches you more about fairness. So actually that spinner would have been a really good talk to have about this. It said 10 equally sized spaces. But what if I made some of the spaces bigger and some smaller? And then said you could only win on the smaller slices, which actually a lot of fair games and things like that, or even like arcade games where there's a spinner and you have to land on a very specific spot. Well, that spot is smaller than all the other spots. So that's actually working probably for the company. They're going to get more money from you or tickets or whatever it is you're doing in order to play that game to try to win. So probability is a little bit about fairness and just understanding how events occur based on what outcomes there are. All right, so in this one, we know we have 12 marbles. Again, they told us that right here in the beginning. So I know there's 12 possible outcomes. If I put my hand in that bag and pull a marble out one at a time, there's 12 different marbles that I can pull out of that bag. They said, what is the probability that it is gray? Is there any gray in this bag? Nope, only white and black marbles. So the probability that I can pull a gray one out is 0. There's no chance that I can pull a 0 one out because a gray one out because there is no gray. So this would just simply equal 0. And that's all we have to put over here is 0. Check. All right.